I helped my best friend turn his life around, then he betrayed me on St. Patrick's Day. I, 28M, met my best friend Kyle, 29M, in college. We clicked immediately, both first-gen students, broke, a little lost, but ambitious. After graduation, I moved to a new city and helped him land a job at the startup I was working for. Even let him sleep on my couch for 5 months while he got back on his feet. We'd been through everything: breakups, layoffs, family drama. I honestly thought of him like a brother. And maybe that's why what happened this past St. Patrick's Day hit so hard. Kyle had been struggling the past year. He went through a messy breakup, got into drinking a little too heavy, and was close to getting fired. I vouched for him, personally. Told my boss he just needed time. Helped him with rent. Drove him to therapy when he couldn't face it alone. So, when St. Patrick's Day came around, and he said he wanted to go out and just feel normal again, I agreed. I didn't want him slipping back into isolation. We hit a few bars downtown. It was packed, like every year. Green beads, beer towers, laughter, chaos. At one bar, I introduced him to a girl I'd been talking to for a couple weeks, Madison, 26F. Things were still new, but I liked her. We had a good connection. She was funny, kind, and easy to talk to. Kyle hit it off with her too, maybe a little too well. I noticed him getting extra flirty. At one point, he put his arm around her, laughing, almost like I wasn't standing 2 feet away. I pulled him aside and said, "Hey man, tone it down, alright?" He rolled his eyes. "Relax. I'm just being friendly." I brushed it off. It was St. Patty's. Everyone was tipsy. No big deal. But later that night, I went to the bar to grab us a round of drinks. When I came back, they were gone. Both of them. No text. No goodbye. I waited. Texted. Called. Nothing. Around 3 a.m., I got a message from Madison. "I think it's best if we don't talk anymore. Take care." No explanation. I didn't sleep. I paced. I checked Instagram the next morning and saw the picture that shattered everything. Kyle and Madison. Together. In his apartment. His arm around her. Her in my hoodie, the one she used to borrow. I felt like someone kicked the wind out of me. I confronted him the next day. His response. "She said you weren't serious. That it was casual." I asked him if he thought that made it okay. He shrugged. "Look man, things happen. You'll get over it. No remorse. No apology. Just pure selfishness." I cut him off that day. Blocked his number. Told my boss everything, how I'd vouched for someone who clearly had no loyalty. Kyle ended up getting fired 2 weeks later, not because of me, but because he showed up to work hungover and late 3 days in a row. I haven't spoken to him since. St. Patrick's Day used to be our favorite tradition, our bro day. Now it's just a reminder of how far someone will go to serve themselves, even at the cost of everything you gave them. Sometimes, the people you help the most are the ones who hurt you the worst. My best friend betrayed me on St. Patrick's Day. Months later, he came crawling back. It's been 6 months since Kyle stabbed me in the back. 6 months since he stole Madison, lied to my face, and acted like it was nothing. After I cut him off, I tried to move on. I won't lie, it took a while. I wasn't just hurt by Madison, I was gutted by Kyle. The person I'd trusted more than anyone, who'd shared my home, my food, my secrets, and he used that trust like a weapon. I buried myself in work. Hit the gym again. Took a short trip out west. Tried dating a little, but nothing serious. Then last week, I got a message. From Kyle. "Hey man. I know I'm probably the last person you want to hear from. I screwed up. I know that now. But I need to talk to you. Please. Just one conversation. I stared at the message for a long time. Part of me wanted to ignore it. But another part, the part that spent years believing he was like a brother, needed to know what he had to say. We met at a coffee shop. Neutral ground. He looked rough. Like he hadn't slept in days. He'd lost weight. Eyes sunken, fingers twitching. I could tell immediately, something had happened. I lost her, he said, sitting across from me. Madison. She's gone. At first, I thought he meant she left him. But then he added. She cheated on me. With some guy at her work. I caught them. In our bed. I won't lie, a small, dark part of me felt a flash of satisfaction. But mostly, it just felt sad. He started to cry. I pushed away everyone. Burned every bridge. You were the only real friend I had. I didn't say anything. I just listened. He kept going, said he was broke, couch surfing again, trying to sober up. Said he missed our friendship, that he made the biggest mistake of his life. Then came the part that really stung. Can I crash at your place for a few weeks? Just until I figure things out. And there it was. The real reason he reached out. Not because he wanted forgiveness, but because he needed something. I leaned back and said, Kyle, I let you into my home. I defended you at work. I treated you like family. And you repaid that by taking someone I cared about and throwing it in my face. I know, he said. I was selfish. I didn't think. No, I replied. You did think. You just didn't care. He looked down, ashamed. I'm not going to let you back into my life just because yours is falling apart. You didn't just burn a bridge, you nuked it. He wiped his face and nodded. I figured you'd say that. But I had to try. I left him there, in that booth, with his regrets. It's been a week since that meeting. He hasn't messaged again. And honestly, I hope he never does. Sometimes closure doesn't come with forgiveness. Sometimes it comes with finally seeing someone for who they really are, and walking away for good. And this time, I'm not looking back. 3 years after my best friend betrayed me on St. Patrick's Day, he showed up at my engagement party. 3 years. That's how long it's been since I last saw Kyle in person. After that night in the coffee shop, I moved on, for real this time. I deleted old photos, boxed up souvenirs from that part of my life, and closed the door on it all. In those 3 years, a lot changed. I got promoted. Bought my first home. Most importantly, I met real love, someone who didn't just like me until a better option came along. Her name's Lauren. She's sharp, kind, emotionally mature. The kind of person who grounds you and makes the chaos in your head quiet down. We got engaged last fall. And this year, on March 17th, of all days, we held an engagement party. I didn't even connect the date until later. I wasn't thinking about Kyle. I hadn't thought about him in a long time. The past felt like another life. We hosted the party at a rooftop bar downtown. Classy, intimate, about 40 guests. Just friends and family. People who mattered. Or so I thought. About halfway through the night, Lauren's college friend Jenna came up to me, confused. There's a guy downstairs asking for you. Said his name's Kyle. You didn't mention inviting him? My blood ran cold. He wasn't on the guest list. I hadn't seen him since the coffee shop 3 years ago. My first thought was, did he crash this? My second was, why now? I told Jenna to keep Lauren distracted and took the elevator down. And there he was. Kyle. Standing by the building entrance. Dressed in a wrinkled button-up, hair messy, holding, a wrapped gift. "What the hell are you doing here?" I asked. He didn't look drunk. Just nervous. "I heard you were getting married," he said. I wanted to say congratulations. And give you this. I didn't take the gift. "You're not invited," I said. "This isn't the time." He nodded. "I know. I had to try. I've been clean for almost 2 years. I've got a stable job now. I'm in a program. I've changed, man." I crossed my arms. "Changed enough to crash a party you weren't welcome at?" That shut him up. "I'm sorry," he said. "Not just for tonight. For everything. What I did, to you, to your trust, it haunts me. I lost a lot. Friends, jobs, relationships. And the worst part? I deserved it." I said nothing. I could feel the old emotions bubbling, anger, betrayal, grief, but I held them back. "I know I don't get to ask anything of you," he continued. "But if there's ever a moment in the future, even years from now, where you could maybe think of me as something other than the guy who ruined everything." He looked down. "Just know I'm trying to become someone worth forgiving." We stood in silence for a long moment. He placed the box on the ledge near the door and turned to leave. Then he paused. "She's beautiful, by the way," he said. "Lauren. You did good." And then he was gone. I went back upstairs. Told Lauren everything. She didn't judge, just squeezed my hand and said, "You handled that better than most people would've." The next morning, I opened the box. Inside was a framed photo. It was us, me and Kyle, from the last college St. Patrick's Day we spent together. Before everything. Before the betrayal. We were on a rooftop, smiling like idiots, holding plastic cups and wearing stupid green hats. On the back of the frame was a handwritten note. "This was the last time I was proud to call you my best friend. I hope, one day, I can earn the right to be proud again, even if from afar. Kyle." I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I just sat there and stared at the photo for a long, long time. And finally, I put it back in the box, sealed it, and stored it in the attic. Not because I want to remember him. But because I need to remember who I've become. And that no matter how much someone betrays you, it doesn't define who you are. It defines who they lost. 1 year after my former best friend crashed my engagement party, I found out why he really came. It's been just over a year since Kyle showed up at my engagement party uninvited. That night burned itself into my memory in a strange way. Not the drama of it, he left quietly, respectfully, even painfully, but the weight of it. The way someone who had betrayed me so deeply could still show up holding a gift, a frame, and a bit of his old self. I didn't reach out after that. I didn't return the gesture. I told myself it was closure. I married Lauren 6 months ago in a small ceremony by a lake. Intimate. Personal. Exactly what I needed, a clean beginning. A life not built on wreckage, but something new. We honeymooned in Italy, came back glowing and calm, and started settling into the house for real. That photo Kyle gave me. The one of us in green hats, dumb grins, holding beer like it was treasure, sat untouched in the attic. Until last week. Lauren was going through storage, hunting for some old holiday decor. She found the box. She didn't open it, she recognized the handwriting and brought it to me. "I thought you might want to deal with this," she said gently. So I did. For the first time since that night, I took the photo out and really looked at it. We were maybe 22 in it. That year had been a blur, finals, graduation, long nights in crummy bars. But we'd had each other's backs. Then, at least. On impulse, I looked Kyle up on LinkedIn. Nothing. Then Facebook. Inactive. Instagram. He hadn't posted in months, but the last picture was him volunteering at a community kitchen. Maybe it was guilt. Maybe curiosity. Maybe something deeper I didn't want to admit. But I emailed him. Saw the photo again. You seemed different that night. Still not sure what you wanted from me, but I'm open to hearing it now. No promises. He responded within the hour. I'm surprised. Grateful. I don't want anything from you, I swear. Just a conversation. When and where? We met at a coffee shop again. The same one as 3 years ago. It felt symbolic, a place where something had once ended, and might now begin again. Kyle looked healthier. Still thinner than before, but steadier. Eyes clearer. He was working at a non-profit that helped people coming out of addiction and incarceration find housing. Apparently, he'd been there for over a year. Full-time. I didn't smile. I didn't lean in. I just said, you said you didn't want anything from me that night. But I didn't believe you. What were you really doing there? He nodded slowly, like he'd expected the question to come sooner. I didn't want to just give you a gift, he said. I wanted you to know something, but I couldn't say it with everyone there. I got scared. Say it now, I said. He took a breath. It wasn't just about Madison, he said. That night. The betrayal. It wasn't just lust or drunken stupidity. I'd been jealous of you for years, man. In ways I didn't even understand. He looked down at his hands. Fidgeting. Back in college, I always felt like the sidekick. You were the one with the ideas. The future. People liked you. I was always just around. When you helped me get that job, when I stayed on your couch, it felt like charity. And instead of being grateful, I got bitter. Like I was your project. So when Madison started flirting back with me, something ugly in me saw it as revenge. Like I was winning for once. He paused, then said. But I wasn't. I ruined the only real friendship I ever had. And I've paid for it every day since. I didn't speak. I just listened. There was more. I didn't come to your engagement party to beg or crash anything. I came because I found something. He pulled a small envelope from his jacket pocket and slid it across the table. Inside was a printed email chain. From Madison. Subject, you never told him the truth. He still thinks you and I just happened by accident. He doesn't know you told me he wasn't serious. That he was just keeping it casual. You set it all up, Kyle. You lied to both of us. And if he finds out now, it won't just be your friendship that's gone. I read it twice. It hit me like a punch in the throat. He hadn't just betrayed me by acting on a moment of temptation, he'd engineered it. You told her I didn't care about her. I asked, stunned. He nodded, shamefully. I told her you were dating around. That you were still messaging other girls. She said she felt confused, thought you were distant. I fed the doubt. Why? I asked, voice shaking. I wanted her to want me. I wanted someone to choose me over you. Even if I had to lie to make it happen. I sat back. Numb. 3 years. 3 years I'd spent wondering if I'd misread the signals with Madison. If maybe she just wasn't into me, and that was fine. I'd made peace with that. But it hadn't been real. It had been sabotage. He continued, quietly. She left me a month later, by the way. I think she figured it out. Said she saw who I really was. I took a long sip of coffee and said, why tell me now? Kyle looked up, tears in his eyes but not yet falling. Because you deserved the truth. And because you're getting married, you already got married, and I didn't want to carry this secret anymore. I wanted you to know, even if it made you hate me again. Maybe especially if it did. The room felt heavy. I sat there for a long time before I said. You're not the only one who paid for this, Kyle. You broke something in me, something that took years to rebuild. And you didn't just take Madison. You made me question my judgment. My instincts. I started second-guessing everyone. He nodded. I know. I looked him in the eye. I'm glad you're trying to be better. Really. But I don't think we'll ever go back to what we were. I don't expect that, he said. We stood up. I went to shake his hand, but he surprised me. He pulled me into a hug. It was awkward. It lingered too long. But it felt final. He pulled back. I'll leave you alone now. I promise. And then, as he turned, he said something that caught me off guard. I'm sorry I stole your past. I hope I didn't ruin your future. I walked out of the coffee shop with the email still in my hand. That night, I told Lauren everything. She just nodded, wrapped her arms around me, and said, you never needed his apology to be whole. But I'm glad you got it. We burned the email together. Not out of hate. Out of closure. Forgiveness doesn't always look like a reunion. Sometimes it's just the absence of bitterness. The ability to look back without flinching. And in that way, I finally forgave Kyle. But I also let him go. For good.